Hello, my name is Jeff Rolka. Thank you for checking out my video. I tend to talk in technical terms on my channel. Secondo passaggio, primo passaggio, zona di passaggio, cricothyroid dominant singing voice, thyroarytenoid dominant singing voice. Those are probably the 5 main phrases that you'll hear from me, terms that I typically use. Apagio breath management, I suppose, is kind of one too. And I realize that they create a certain barrier of entry. You have to come to an understanding of what those terms are in order to know precisely what I'm talking about. But if you do, you will know precisely what I'm talking about. And more important than that is you will understand precisely what your voice is doing. And I did that intentionally from the very beginning to avoid confusion, because too frequently it happens. And this is an awesome question that came up, and you'll see when I read it in a second here, it seems like a small matter, but it is of such huge importance to us that I felt like it really, really needed addressing. And so I was grateful for the question, grateful to have the opportunity to talk about it. I have a question. Not sure if there is enough to it for a questions from comments video, but here goes. Came across a phrase, hooking the high note. As used, it seemed a bad thing to do, but have no idea what the singer meant. My suspicion is some sort of reaching up to the high note, but that reflects my own ideas. Have you come across this term in your teaching or from one of your colleagues or students? No, I haven't heard that one. And therefore, I have no idea what it means. I can only guess. And as you very wisely said, you thought it was a bad thing, but that's based on your reflections, your experiences. And that's all we have. Until we talk to the person who wrote that comment or originated the phrase, we don't really know what they're saying because there's nothing technical about it. It doesn't tell us anything of real substance. And this is why I talk about having good adduction in your cricothyroid dominant singing voice as one example of some of the phrases that I frequently use here on the channel. When I say the word adduction, if you went and looked that up, you would find that what it means is to move towards the center line of the body. We, as humans, have bilateral symmetry. We are generally more or less symmetrical from, side to side in halves. And so adduction means moving towards the center line. Cricothyroid dominant is referring to 2 sets of muscles, the cricothyroid muscles, posterior and anterior, and their role in phonation, dominance. They are dominant here. And that phrase then tells you you're going to use these 2 sets of muscles. And what they do is they elongate the vocal fold, and you're going to work towards adducting the vocal fold to keep it moving towards the center line. And that produces voce piena and testa, which is another term which we won't get into right now. But my point here is that it is quite objectively descriptive. Hooking, I can only guess, I'm afraid to say, and much as I would like to help, I would only be speculating, which I generally try to avoid. But here's the thing. We all, by we all, I mean singing instructors, and in this I include myself, have certain phrases that we use from time to time. The difference, in my opinion, in being helpful versus perpetuating myth is to use a few phrases like, I describe it this way. When I talk about it, I think about it in these terms. Because you might have to come to an academic understanding of an adducted cricothyroid dominant singing voice, but then have an easier way of thinking about it for you. Maybe until those terms become second nature to you, or maybe just forever. It doesn't really matter. Understanding it from an objective standpoint and then having a way to manifest it for yourself on command is the goal here. That's what I'm trying to do. So I avoid phrases like this one because since I don't know all of our levels of experience and I don't necessarily know whom I'm talking to at any given time, I want to objectively describe things, even if it means that you've got to come to an understanding of the terms that I'm using. Because if I just say, oh, I'll just hook into this, that leaves us asking questions instead of providing answers. Now, you can ask people to clarify. You can ask them to try to describe it objectively. You can ask them for more information. You can listen to them sing and then try to analyze what it is that they are doing. Those are all possible. Those are all ways that we can use phrases that are more common to us, more comfortable for us maybe. But there will always be that point of translation if we're trying to communicate the idea to someone else, or if we are receiving the information from someone and they are using terms that they have grown accustomed to, that they are comfortable with, and are not taken from the pedagogical lexicon. Great question. Please feel free to ask follow-ups below. Really appreciate it. Really great question. Thank you if you've chosen to subscribe. For those of you who have chosen to do so, truly appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, where you can get MP3s of all these practices and things like that. Thanks again so much. Have a wonderful day. Take really good care of your voices. Enjoy singing, and hopefully we'll see you again. Bye.